Yep. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of River City 93. I'm your host, as always, Elliot Barton. Joining me on today's episode is Mr. Matt Myers and Shanier to rank II. Kate had to go away. She had to go spend time with her family up in New York, so she stepped away. But these two lovely guys are here to talk to me about a draw with a certain other team that played in red. What is it about teams in the league this year deciding to wear red like us? Like, you got One Knox, then Fuego, Chattanooga.
Fuego's always been red. Chattanooga's always been that maroonish color. One Knox is the only oddball one out of that. It did like a one-off.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, what's up, y'all? How did the weekend craziness treat y'all?
I've had to really think very hard whenever we're analyzing these games because so much soccer between Euros, MLS, USL, USLW League, USL League One. I'm just like I'm soccered out.
All these West Coast games do help reinforce to me that not as young as I once was, because it used to be like a game that ends at after midnight. No big deal. It was a little bit of a struggle to get all the way to the end, and that was just human level, not quality of product level.
Yeah, that was the same for me. And I was like, I have a wedding to go to tomorrow, and I have to stay up late and watch this game. And I was struggling to stay awake. It was rough.
I'm glad we're all on the same page, because they ain't gonna lie. Like, around the 70th minute, I was like, all right, can we hurry this up?
Gotta love those West Coast games. Gotta love those West Coast games. Those 10:30 kickoffs.
Someone else.
No, you don't.
Especially this replay. Like, before we talk about this game, let's hop into league news. So you got Worcester Soccer Club. They just dropped. I don't know if you saw their logo. Their logo literally looks like the Washington Commanders logo. It's bad. But guess who the owner is of that team?
I mean, I saw one of
the owners, Mr. Tyrod Taylor of the 757. Which is
whatever.
Hilarious to me. Like, it's just funny that a team that was Chester up in New York can get a team before a team in the 7-5. And then what was the other team? FC Naples. And I think one of their owners was Nico. What's his last name?
Nico Cantor.
Yeah, Nico Cantor.
Yep.
Yeah.
The host on CBS Golasso. And I just can't wait for them to play their first game and lose so I can just talk crap to them.
Well, you gotta love new teams coming in, either with their marquee notable person being a career backup who I think most famously just punctured a lung and then lost his one shot at ever really being a starter. And then I think that was him, right?
Yeah, that was him.
That was him.
I think that's how Josh Allen got to Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I can't remember, because he's been on like every team in the league at this point, because he's just replaceable, forgettable, and Nepo baby.
Yeah.
Also, there's no chance either one of them put any real money in to those teams, so whatever.
I can believe Tyrod did it. I can believe they came to Tyrod and was like, "Hey, look, if you give us 10G, we'll give you a C."
I don't count that as real money. That's a forward Madison move.
Also, I'm disappointed at Tyrod because he could have definitely invested in Richmond. Like, all right, there's no team with 7-5. Come to Richmond. Like, come here. Come home. Invest in us. We need it. Give me 10,000 so I can go out here and get other players for Darren.
Nah.
I
mean, I'll take whatever money, but don't need to gimmick it up for the sake of gimmicking it up.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that man will never set foot once at a Westchester FC or whatever the hell they're calling themselves game.
I'm just still weak at their logo. Looks like Dan Snyder. Someone told Dan Snyder, hey, we're making a team. What should the logo be like? He was like, Washington. and just use the same logo, like just copy and paste it. And that's
Colors.
if you look at the logo, it looks like the Washington Commanders logo. It's bad. Yeah, that's besides that point. Focusing on this game, Richmond came into it. We talked about last week, like this was a big game for them to win if they want to start pushing themselves into that realm of like, kind of getting away from the middle pack because some of the teams below us, like one of the teams we're going to play this week and coming up, Nelco FC has so many games in hand that they can catch up to us. It started off well, but I think from this game, and I'm interested to hear what you guys got to say. One of the things that frustrated me in this game, and albeit it's a point on the road is not the worst thing in the world, but what frustrated in this game is the lack of decision making on and off the ball, the lack of creativity in the final third, and the overall sloppiness in the passes.
Yeah. One thing that I have that disappointed me in this game with regards to you talking about the sloppiness of the passes is I'm used to having to adjust my brain between what to expect watching men's soccer versus watching women's soccer. And a lot of times it's the speed and pace of play and the quickness of thinking that is more advanced with the men's team. I'm not going to say this in general, but in this game, after watching the Ivy on Thursday, the Ivy are cleaner on their passes than the kickers were on Saturday. Like it was night and day. Like to be honest with you,
the Ivy were playing against 9 people who are.
I know. I understand they were. I understand they were playing against 9 people, but it's a regular occurrence with the Ivy, and it's not just a question of they were passing it around this team. It's just the cleanness of their touches, the cleanness of their passes. Their first touch was exact. There was a lot of sloppiness in this game from the first kickoff. Within the first 30 seconds of the kickers having the ball gets wildly popped in the air like 5 times by kickers players. And I'm like, what is going on? You guys look like a U14 travel team. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they were jet lagged or what, but it was very, very sloppy on Saturday against Central Valley Fuego. Sloppier than they normally are. They're normally pretty clean with their passes. I'm not talking about the decision making, but just the fact that when a ball comes to you, your first touch isn't sloppy. Your first touch isn't one you have to chase after, or your first touch is exactly where you want it to be. That was not happening at all on Saturday, and it was very alarming.
I will say this, man. Like the thing that frustrated me most about this game is like Fuego came in with a pretty clear like trap they wanted to set. It was all right. Fuego pretty much went into the game was like we're going to stretch the field and we're going to force Neil and Bill Hart because they knew they were going to be the 2 creators to not receive the ball cleanly. Like, all right, it's cool if they receive the ball, but we're not going to allow them to turn into space and create something, right? Like we can give it to anyone else out here, but those 2 they made a apparent effort to shut them down, which they did. And then it was, all right, once that happens, if anyone else touches the ball, force them to pass it long in the air. Like pass it long or put the ball up in the air, which Richmond kept falling into time and time and time again. And it was just, I don't know, it just seemed like no one recognized what Fuego was doing out there. Or it was the case of like, these guys just look myth of just controlling the ball. Like, if I'm pretty sure if Richmond just slows this game down a little bit and not played in the Fuego, like try to go up and down the field like basketball, Richmond can walk out of here with a 2-0 win. Because Fuego was not trying to just sit in deep. Like, we've heard Darren before, and I'm not trying to sound frustrated, but we've heard Darren before say, like, the reason why he's playing this possession style is because of the players that he has available. Like, he doesn't have the big name stars as other people. So with that possession style. Correct me if I'm wrong, Shanahan, Matt. That means that you are looking to control the ball, right? You are looking to slow the ball down so your opponent doesn't have opportunities, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure yes, I'm pretty sure he also said last year that they wanted to proactively move to a possession style, intentionally, so might be talking out of both sides of his mouth on that one.
Yeah. I mean, okay, yes. But with this possession style, I'm assuming that you are looking to slow down and give the lack of opportunity a chance. So with that, you need to have control of the ball. And it just seemed like Richmond in this game just didn't have that control of the ball. It seemed like they just wanted to keep going and going and going and going. And it's like they just needed someone out there just to be like, yo, slow down. Like, just slow down. Even after they got the goal, you would think, slow down. But
they need to slow down because I feel like they play super slow most of the time anyway.
Yeah, no, I understand. They do play slow, but I understand what you're saying, Elliot. It was just very frantic.
Yes,
it was just too frantic. Like it's like you just scored. Calm down, relax. Just try and keep possession, keep control of the game. At the end of the day, you've scored. The ball is in your court. Get control and try and control the game. They were kind of still in that panic. We need to score. Like it's still 0-0 mentality.
Yeah. Because before Richmond even scored, like Pablo Hara made some pretty good saves to keep this game. Because this game could have been different.
Yeah.
Like, Fuego had some opportunities where it's like, oh, this can be kind of ugly for Richmond. And then I gotta say it, Guy Franca, he is a mountain of a man. He looks good out there. He played well. Got his first goal for the Kickers on a back post header. Like,
yeah, dominating header too. He came up big, knotted it down with authority. I liked it. It was good. His positioning was very good, and I like the support around him too. There were bodies around him that seemed like they were there just basically a cluster of Kickers players were in that area. Like whoever it's going to, everyone else just needs to be there to block off anyone covering. And I think that's what it seemed like because there were a lot of. I didn't really catch exactly who was around Guy when he took the header, but if I'm not mistaken, I think Dak was one of them, but he was focused on keeping a defender away from Guy when he took the header, which is I like that tactic. I like that strategy. It's something that we can use on set pieces over and over again. But very good goal by Guy Franca.
Yeah, and it's like Fuego in this game alone had 11 interceptions to our 3. So that just let you know we're turning the ball over way too much and not getting the ball back quick enough. Because once again, with a possession based system, if you lose the ball, you got to be in a panic to get the ball back, right? And it seemed like Richmond was just unable to do that, and it hindered a lot of what Richmond was trying to do. The build-up play part of it, getting into the final third, it just seemed, I don't know, slow and lethargic. I'm not trying to pick a point at it, but that's the sense that I was getting.
I think there's some of that. I think they passed through midfield fine. I think 2 things: a way too quick to just turn back around and recycle it through the back. Take a chance sometimes. Yeah, you'll probably lose the ball more often than not, but there's a couple times when you do get the cross through or you do beat the man on the dribble, might have a much higher higher yield on the opportunity there. But I feel like the times when we don't score on the corners, and don't get me wrong, corner kicks are easily our number one option right now for goals. If it doesn't go in, half the time the ball's back to Pablo before you know it, and not because the other team cleared it all the way back to him, because we decided to pass the ball back and go back again, and then go back again for a full reset.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
I mean, I can understand the philosophy of we want to hold the ball, but same time, like
we don't want to.
you gotta take it sometimes to keep the other team honest, if nothing else.
Exactly. I mean, that's what I was about to get at. You hit it on the head. Keeping the other team honest, keeping them, not allowing them to relax, because you basically set up a situation where other teams are in the mindset of, if we can initially get that ball clear, we have time to breathe before the kickers come back at us. And that, it shouldn't be that way. It should be, we got the ball clear, here they come again, we got to get set up. And that's usually when you have that panic and that franticness, because everyone, especially off of something like a corner kick, everyone's jumbled in the box, everyone's mixed up. It's you know, kind of crazy. So everyone is now trying to pick apart where they're supposed to be. Okay, where am I supposed to be? Where's my position? And if you're coming right back at them, it's harder. But if we're sending the ball all the way back to Pablo, they have time to be like, oh, okay, all right. So I'm usually left wing, so let me go head back up into my position off of the corner kick. And you allow the team to just get back set up. It makes it twice as hard.
Mm-hmm. And let me throw this little bit of quasi trivia out to you guys here. Other than corner kicks or Adrian Billhart, doing Adrian Billhart things, when was the last time somebody scored for the kickers?
Oh, wow.
O'Dwyer.
O'Dwyer, yeah.
That's called corner kick.
Oh, yeah. He was on corner. Yeah. Was it Neil?
I don't think Neil scored this year.
Yeah, he hasn't scored this year. Jeez,
Oh, he had a penalty.
Wow.
He had a penalty in the Open Cup game, but no.
I honestly don't know.
I can't remember.
Sierkowski in the first Jaeger game down in Greenville on April 27th.
Wow. All right.
So we're coming up on almost 2 months without anyone scoring other than off a corner kick or Adrian Billhart finding something good happening. Like, yeah, nothing wrong with getting goals off of corners. Like, I think it's a really underappreciated art, because you're probably going to get at least a half dozen of those chances in a game, and if you can reliably score one of those a game, those are great odds that any team in the world would be able to take. But the attack, and I think this kind of goes to the playing it safe side of things. Like Bill Hart, we know he'll take a shot. We know he'll take chance, even if it might seem low percentage sometimes. Like, are we seeing that from anyone else? Like, willing to just have a go? Because this game, one shot on target for the kickers all game.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to expect a win when you're not even forcing the other keeper to have to do anything.
Is it more so? All right, let me ask this: is it more so the fact of we don't have anyone else on the team willing to take a risk in the final third, or is it that they're getting there, they're trying to take a risk, they're just not finishing those chances?
It could be a little B, but I think it's a lot more of A, because
Okay.
I feel like we talk about this a lot. It's not so as much the finishing isn't there. I mean, it's not. Don't get me wrong. For a lot of the guys, but how often are our complaints that their keeper stole one off of us versus we're not generating enough.
Pack stole one off of us, 100%.
Yeah.
No, I get you on that. Like, Alex, who runs League One Update, by the way, if you don't follow him, make sure you follow him. He brought up how the past couple of games we've been starting on Dwyer as striker, which, he's been decent there. Didn't hold up play and things like that, but he's not a natural finisher. And you have one on the bench, Arthur Boshua, but twice we've seen Darren wait till the 65th, 70th minute to make that switch to bring Arthur on. We know Arthur has had his struggles in front of goal this year, missing the PK in the U.S. Open Cup, I think he missed another PK or goal opportunity in another game. I can't remember exactly what, but why is Darren being hesitant with that switch there to put the natural striker and have him start the game, and then if you want to bring in another hold up player like or Dwyer or something,
Why is Chandler always on the field no matter what? Right? He's played a lot of different positions.
Yeah.
There's something about him that Darren really likes. I think it's that he's got the motor. Like he'll, run around like nobody's business. I think inherently Darren's also a much more defensive coach than he wants to admit. And having a guy who will, do the defensive work up top, is a better option if he's not scoring than a guy who doesn't have the same defensive motor who's also not scoring.
Yeah, we have seen that the last few years with Darren when it comes to like attacking players. Like if they're not willing to come back on defense or do the defensive part, they kind of go down the pecking order from like Gordon to Olex to who's the other one? Charlie Boateng. Yeah, you got a good point there, Matt. I don't know if Bosch does the defensive part, but I would just think like.
I mean, it's not like they're not doing any defensive work, but there's levels to this, and if you're a Emmy, if you're a Bill Hart, you can probably get away with putting a little bit less on the defensive side because you produce on the offensive side. But I don't think that's too dissimilar from a lot of other coaches in a lot of different sports. Like, okay, you earn your minutes by grinding hard on the defense. You keep them by producing in the attack.
Yeah, true. I imagine so. And then I want to throw this out there because I don't want to talk about the goal that we gave up because, quite frankly, it's embarrassing. Well, I mean, matter of fact, we might as well talk about it.
The last 5 seconds, kind of like the defensive shape on that goal.
What defensive shape? Because
it lasted a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Still a shape. It's not a shape you want to see, but it's still a shape.
Yeah. You want to dive into it, Matt?
Not especially, no. But I mean, Fuego guy X, I'm not bothered enough to go back and pick out who exactly it was. Kind of dribbling through the defense, just one through ball straight through, and I think what's the guy's name who actually scored?
Gay, Franca.
No, not Franca. Their guy, Medense. Just Roski. With speed right there, gets in behind, just dribbles Pablo. I don't fault Pablo there. Like, really didn't have any prayer because it was a one-on-one breakaway. Because for some reason that I have no idea where everybody else was. Like, he was like 5 to 10 yards away from any other Kickers player, kind of on an island. And the ball gets played through. The Fuego player knew where it was going. He hopped right onto it, and pretty easy goal from there.
Yeah, I don't get what happened there defensively, and I'm pretty sure Darren more than likely chewed him out afterwards about it because it just seemed like the rest of the I don't know what it was. It just seemed like the defense just got separated.
I think in that
turnover once again,
I think, bad pass. Yeah, that it was a turnover off of a bad pass, but a transition problem, and I think the fault lies with Fitch in that situation because of the fact that Fitch is so high up and does not recover quickly enough. That first ball that is sent up from their third into the midfield out on the wing, Barnathan and Garnett have to come out of position and go all the way wide to try and cover that space. Zaka and James are nowhere to be found in the midfield, which means Garnett has to tuck up and wide. And now that means Guy has to come all the way across. And by the time he gets all the way across and is trying to track his player, Guy is not the fastest guy in the world. He's not going to keep up with him. That ball slot through, Guy is left high and dry. And you can even see that Maxi has dropped back wide, but it's Simon Fitch who didn't drop back that forces Dak and Garnett to move out of position.
Yeah. So I don't know. That play all around is kind of frustrating because it felt like this felt like a game that we should be walking away truly with 2 goals scored, but
Where are you finding the
we
second
had 2
goal?
goals scored. Maybe
Yeah.
retract. We should have been walking away with another 1-0 win. Like, oh God.
But
Yeah, we
for a while there, I wasn't sure we are going to get out of there with 1 point, because Fuego started to really
yeah.
take control of the game, you
Yep.
up until probably 65, 70, somewhere
It
like
really
that.
was up
And then
until
it was kind of
Darren
flattened
put
out.
in the subs. It was really until Darren put in like Emmy, Tony. And it was
Yeah.
weird because it's like you put those 2 in, and it was like, oh, Richmond realized, like, oh, we have somebody with speed. We can get it behind
Yeah.
now. And don't get me wrong. Like, I love Neil. I love Bill Hart. I love how technical they are. But Fuego knew there's no one on this team that can get it behind us and penalize us. You get what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it's like, as soon as Tony got on the field, it was like, oh, yeah, we got to drop back like 10 yards. My fault, man. I didn't mean to cut off your point, but I just wanted to present that.
No, I mean, it would have gotten to the same point you were. Like, once the changes came, the game kind of leveled out a lot more. Like, it's not even a situation where I would say, like, Emmy or Tony, you made a massive direct impact, but I think the indirect impact, like you said, Tony being able to just provide a little bit more, space, on the field, and Emmy, you talked before we saw it in this game, just being able to get the ball and have that ability to get fouled, in the midfield, it helps to reorganize, slow things down, bail out the defense sometimes when the ball is popping around a little bit. Like, I would, because I still don't think we even came close to having much of a dangerous chance. I guess Dak had that one like that he kind of like sidewindered, but that ball was never anywhere close to the goal.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, in the 84th minute, we had a chance because I swore Tony got horse collared in front of goal. They should have been a PK.
no recollection of that, so I'll take your word for it.
Oh yeah, it was like the 84th minute. I remember it was a breakaway. And Tony's going in on goal. Yeah, I think it's a square ball coming to Ross. And the Fuego defender, you can tell he gets beat, and he just wraps his arm around Tony and slightly pulls him back. And the ref, I swear, the ref in this game was trying
questionable.
Yeah, he was letting a lot of stuff go. Like, and then like the last 10 minutes or so, he decided like, oh, I'm gonna start calling some, but he didn't call the PK here. But besides the point, like Richmond should not be relying on a PK to come out of Fuego, a team that has not won a game since the opening week of the season.
Yeah, has lost every game since the opening week. Not only hasn't won, but has lost every single game. Hasn't earned a point.
And I know last week I had a lot of goodwill because I saw things that were positive, like the team was creating chances with our biggest chance creator going, and all of that it's kind of almost like the same thing with the Ivy, like the air is going out of the balloon again, because it's just like,
yeah,
I don't even know if the air is in the balloon at this point, because it feels like a disappointing point, like it's a disappointing point. We had the opportunity to get the 3 points here, especially with Chattanooga dropping points against Charlotte. You play NoCo coming up soon. Like,
it's one of those things in a vacuum. It's like, okay, away draw, not the end of the world. But you look at some of the context of Fuego's been awful, and just been donating points to the rest of the league, and now we've left 2 of those on the table, and we don't get to play them anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So other teams are likely to cash in some of their chips, and I think the schedule's only going to get tougher. Like, we haven't seen Omaha yet. We haven't haven't seen
Lexington. We still got.
Well, Lexington's been rather disappointing, so I think they might be one of our main competitors for a playoff spot this year. Haven't seen NoCo yet. That'll come up this week, but they're one of those teams. They're below us in the standings right now, but they're one of those teams that haven't hardly played any games yet, so I think they're probably better than their current record suggests.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, man.
Road's not going to get any easier.
No, it's not. And
No, not at all.
It's time. At this point, it's time for Darren to put Tony, Emmy, and Ani back in the starting lineup. Like, I love Griffin Garnett. I love what the kid has done. I'm not saying back at the kid at all. But Gee, Ani, Dak, that's your back three. If you're going to stick with this 3-4-3, that needs to be your back three. You need to put Tony out there. Let him be on the wing. Let him go. Let him be one of those forwards up top. If you want to put Neil centrally or drop Neil back to the midfield, I don't know how you're going to configure it, but it's time to put those three in the starting lineup.
I agree.
Yeah, it's time at this point because, like, granted, the guys that we didn't think were going to be starters or, more or less backup players have done okay, decent job, right? But they're not the deciding factors anymore, right? They can be if you give them 15, 20 minutes, but rely on them game in after game. We've seen the results. It's not changing anything, and that's not anything about them. It's just that Tony, Emmy, and Ani gives you something different. Like Sarakowski, he's done a great job, but we know he's not going to get up behind because he likes the ball at his feet. Tony, the last two games has shown you if you give him the ball out of space, he can at least, at the bare minimum, create something, create some kind of havoc or chance, right? Nothing needs to be said about Emmy. We know who Emmy is. So if you put Sarakowski, O'Dwyer, Griffin Garnett on the bench, that's more than enough to help you out in the latter minutes of games. But it's time to start these three.
Yeah, I think the only question there is Emmy 90 minutes ready yet?
He don't got to be 90, but he can dang sure be 60. Because I think he played 40 minutes this week?
Like 30.
Yeah, 30. Okay. So, and I get being cautious there. But, Tony's probably more than ready to go 90 minutes or at least 80 minutes. Like, if you went on the front three with Tony, Neil, and Bill Hart, go with that. But, like, for instance, we got Noko coming up, right? And we know how Noko's going to play. Noko is going to look to sit deep and counterattack at pace, right? And if you don't have anyone there that can threaten Noko to sit back either 5 yards, like, Noko's just going to have a field day picking you apart because they're lethal like that. We've seen that, so you're going to need Tony to be starting to go like, look, your whole thing is to be vertical, like be the outlet ball when we needed to go and create something. This Richmond's not going to be Noko if they take the game plan from this, not be a threat in behind and be sloppy in passes without a release ball where there is one to go to.
Yeah, you're not going to get any arguments from me after complaining about the attack just being stagnant. That let's mix up the attack. Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, same here.
That's where I'm at. But anything else from you guys before we wrap up? I'm sorry, I kind of went on a tangent there, but
no, you're fine. With Emmy starting to become a regular player again, I think things will be able to turn around because I think we'll see a lot more success with Neil as well. Neil and the Neil and Emmy partnership was really good last year throughout the season. And I think having that again might yield some better opportunities, some better chances, and it might get us scoring some more goals. We might be able to move a little bit up the table with Emmy back healthy. Hopefully, he can be more of a participant in the upcoming game, and the recovery isn't a very slow one.
So it just feels like, man, it's time. Like, you got to change up something different in attack. And look, I'm not throwing any of these guys under the bus. But if Darren has been telling us, like, you know, my guys have been hurt, which is fair. Like, I'm not discrediting that. But if they're ready to go to start significant minutes, it is time to do it. Like, you know, you don't have the same number of league games like in years past to rely on. Like, at this point, almost at the halfway point of the league season itself. We're at the halfway point of the Jägermeister Cup. You're almost at the halfway point of the league itself. You got to start. The vast majority of these next upcoming league games have to be wins, at least, you know, to stay within that playoff, you know. So we'll see. Matt, anything from you, man, before we wrap up, sir?
I mean, I think we've actually solved, you know, what the real problem is, or should I say, you know, Zaka has solved, you know, our true problem. Have you seen his Instagram story today?
No, what was it?
Oh, he's got a nice picture with Gonzalo Montiel and Lucas Corta, you know, because he's boys with them from the River Plate states. They're sporting Kickers jerseys. Let's just, you know, get, you know, World Cup winner, you know, I don't remember if Corta was on, you know, the team in 2022, but he's with, you know, the Argentina team right now. They can stick around and help out. Yeah, their defenders won't necessarily immediately solve, you know, the attacking problem, but they could probably do a job for us.
Yeah,
absolutely.
With it.
Let's go.
Yeah, we 100% need to do that. I just saw this picture. We 1,000% need to do this.
Little summer break. They get to play with their boy from back in the day. Win-win for everybody involved.
So a Florentina and a Nottingham Forest backup. Yeah, look, he already played in red and white. What's the difference? Yeah, we can do this.
He would be like, "Hey, Matt Turner was playing Richmond. Like, oh, it was awesome, dude. You ought to do it. Done.
There you go. Ta-da!
Yeah. Sorry, Simon and, you know, Ani or Guy or whoever loses your spot. Oops.
Look, I'm just saying, Dak, you might have to go to the bench for a game or two, buddy. Just take that role. I think he'd be fine with it. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
problem solved.
There you go. So we got the Kickers home game this Saturday. Now I just thought about it. We got back-to-back home games this week, right? Friday,
Ivy Friday, Kickers Saturday.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see how this goes. Hopefully, you know, look, it's just any time for a 9-point weekend, it's now. Please. Soccer gods, just bless us with that.
I might be willing to sacrifice the Ivy at this point for 3 points from the Kickers.
Okay, 6-point weekend. The Kickers win has to be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I want a 6-point weekend as well.
6.5. 7. There you go. A draw and a win. There you go. Make it better for us. 7-point weekend. Yeah. All right. Let me stop derailing the podcast. With that being said, folks, we just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your day for listening to the podcast, because without you, we couldn't do this show. So with that being said, as always, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And with that being said, as always, for the lovely guys here and Kate, we will see you guys at City Stadium. Make sure to say hi to us. We're not scary people. We're cool. We will holler at you guys next week, where we are hopefully talking about a nice positive 7-point weekend. That's the hope. See you guys next week. Be easy.